Hello everyone, welcome back to my second channel, welcome back to Jack in the Books. I'm currently uploading a main channel video on my laptop. I just thought, well, since I still have my filming setup all sitting right here and I'm in the mood to film, fuck it, let's film another one. So hello everyone, I just cut this off of my t-shirt, like I trimmed my own t-shirt because I didn't like how long it was. So this is the current situation. It's kind of like rolling up. So I think what I should have done is that I shouldn't have trimmed quite so much off because now it doesn't have a hem, it's like rolling up. So I've lost probably 2 more inches than I intended to. Very nearly have like a crop top, but it was too long. So I thought I'm just gonna do a DIY job. I don't know why I thought that. I was in a goofy mood. Anyway, so today I thought I would read to you my list of popular books that I probably, emphasis on probably, will never read. Because the thing is, you know me, I love a reading challenge. I like pushing myself out of my comfort zone. So often the books that I say I'm not gonna read, I then end up being quite intrigued by. But I think, I'm almost certain that this is a list of books that I will not pick up anytime soon or at all. And I made this list a couple of days ago, just for myself. And I thought I would go through it with you because I've seen this as a bit of a trend on TikTok and stuff. So these are the popular books that I probably will never read. Look at the number of times I'm saying probably to like cover my own back when I inevitably read at least one of these. First book is a definite no, and that is Dune. I have already read Dune 1. There is no hope in hell, there is no money you could pay me to read any of the sequels to that book. No way. No. Over my dead body. Like, if you see me reading Dune 2, run, like panic, freak out. I have been abducted, I've been taken, I've been drugged. Like, you will never see me reading that book, no way. The next thing that I wrote down is the Court of Thorns and Roses / Mist and Fury. I'm not entirely sure what the name of the series is, but it scares me. I think there's quite a lot of the books, and I know that it's like fantasy. I've heard rave reviews. I know that people love this series of books, but it's just not something that necessarily interests me. And I love the enthusiasm that everyone else has, and I'm so happy to just like coexist with that and be like, cool, you guys enjoy yourselves, you guys go have fun. It's the same with like scuba diving. Like, I fully appreciate why people like doing that. I fully understand. I would love to be able to scuba dive, but I have bad sinuses, and so it's something I will never be able to do. And so I'm happy just admiring from afar, coexisting, and I'm not gonna bother you. You scuba dive, you read Court of Mists and Thorns and Furies and Roses, you do you. I just personally will not be partaking. Same goes for Shatter Me. I've seen this all over TikTok, and honestly, I just hate the covers. Sorry about it, like that it doesn't do it for me. I also read the book that Kylie and Kendall Jenner had ghostwritten, and that had an eye on the cover, and I think that's just scarred me. So, Shatter Me, it's not you, it's... What was that book even called? I can't even remember what it was called. But it's Kendall and Kylie Jenner's fault somehow. On a similar vibe that I don't want to read specifically because of the cover is To Paradise by Hanya Yanagihara. I freaking love A Little Life, even though I think the biggest cock-up of my whole career on YouTube.com is when I did a video at the end of last year, which just hit 1 million views, where I give this like rave review of A Little Life. Like I'm like, this is one of my favorite books ever. And then when I was editing it, I managed to mess it up somehow, and I didn't change the star rating. So A Little Life still has the star rating of the book before it, which I gave 2 stars. So instead of A Little Life having 5 stars, it accidentally has 2 stars on the screen. And so I'm sitting there being like, this is one of the best books I've ever read, I love it so much. And then on the screen it's like 2 stars out of 5. And all the comments on that video are like, why did you give A Little Life 2 stars if you loved it so much? And I'm like, damn it! And it's one of those things that you can't fix. Once it's done, it's done. So 1 million people have seen that monumental fuck up, and there's nothing I can do. But I loved A Little Life, but the cover of To Paradise just does not tickle my pickle. Like, I just don't like it. I don't really like people on the cover of books. Like, movie time covers knock me sick. So I think maybe the fact that this is like a person and then just block colour around them is why I'm not drawn to it. I don't really like the font. Like, I don't know. It doesn't vibe with me, and therefore I won't be reading it on pure vibes alone. Next one that I wrote down is The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. Now, this was a huge seller in the UK. I think it was one of the most successful books of the last year, 2 years, and he's released at least one sequel, possibly two, and yet everyone I've heard speak about this book didn't enjoy it. Like, I haven't heard one person be like, oh my god, best book I read last year, like it was so good. So it's weird because it sold so many copies, and yet it doesn't seem to have like the praise to back it up. I think Richard Osman is quite cool. I always enjoyed watching him on Pointless and stuff, so yeah, I don't know. But I bought a copy of this book, but I don't think I'll ever get around to reading it because it doesn't have the hype that I expected it to have based on its sales figures. Don't know. The next book that I wrote down is The Hunger Games prequel. I can't even remember what it's called, but I know it's about President Snow. It's like President Snow's backstory. Look, will I even go and see the film? Probably not. Like, I loved The Hunger Games. I really, really loved The Hunger Games. I absolutely ate The Hunger Games up when I was younger. And it still has a place in my heart, and I recently watched the whole series of movies again, and they were just as great as I remembered them being. Like, I really enjoyed them. Even though, watching them back, I was like, wow, Katniss really was just such a liability. Like, Katniss is actually a nightmare. But aside from that, like, I think The Hunger Games has stood the test of time. I think the first Hunger Games book and the second as well are, like, should be modern classics. I think they are brilliant. Like, I genuinely think when we talk about great dystopias, like Brave New World, 1984, things like that, we should be including The Hunger Games because it's a great universe and deserves all its success. However, having said all of that, there's something about reading a trilogy of books, like, way back when. I was, like, very satisfied with that. I don't feel any need or inclination to read the prequel. And also during lockdown, when I was back at university with my old housemates, they both read it and so kind of just told me what happens. So, and that was like enough for me. I was like curious enough to ask them what happened, but not curious enough to actually read it. So there we go. Okay, these ones might upset a few people because these are huge on TikTok, but The Cruel Prince, once I realized that was a series, decided against it. I actually do have a copy of this book, but I can't see myself reading it. Shadow and Bone. Now, I'm really confused about this because this has been adapted to a Netflix series, right? Or like a TV show. And so I thought like, oh, the series must have been massive. But when I was Googling it, I was looking at the cover and I don't recognize it at all. So, which is weird because usually with these like huge series, the covers are quite recognizable, and maybe people just don't talk about it as much as I thought they did. Confused. Confusion is my main emotion towards this, but yeah, Shadow and Bone doesn't really sound up my street, nor does the Inheritance games. I couldn't tell you anything about that. I think I've just seen it on TikTok loads and just kind of decided, no, not for me. I also wrote down anything else by Charles Dickens. Like, I've read my fair share of Charles Dickens in my life during my degree and since my degree, and I never again. Like, just never again. I've read enough. I've seen enough to make a decision, and I don't like it. So I won't be reading any more Charles Dickens, thank you. And then the final book that I wrote down is Babel. Now, this is gonna be controversial because this is everywhere right now. All over TikTok, all over YouTube, like everyone is reading it. I know that my friend Joel is a massive fan of this. However, I am just getting so confused because some people pronounce it Babel, and some people pronounce it Babel, and I think Babel is like the American pronunciation. I had the same issue when I was in Cambodia. I stayed at a hostel, well, like, no, a hotel called Babel Hotel, and everyone was calling it Babel, and I was so confused, and I was like, I swear, I was having this full crisis, like, I swear this word is pronounced Babel, but it's because we pronounce it differently in the UK and in America. And so for that reason alone, just because it's confused me so much, and I know what the internet is like, I don't want to do a video where I read this book, talk about this book, and call it Babel with like British English, and then because most of my followers are American, for them to be commenting being like, why is he pronouncing Babel? Why is he pronouncing Babel like Babel? And then if I do it the other way around, my English followers, my British followers are going to be like, why is he pronouncing it Babel? So for that reason alone, I'm not reading this book. That's so stupid. I'm aware of that, but that's my reason. That's probably the one on this list that is subject to change because maybe I will get around to reading this at some point if good reviews keep coming in and it sounds like it's worth the read. And I will just do so many disclaimers. Babel, same thing, different pronunciations. Be nice to me, please. It's just that when you make a full like 32-minute video or something, and then every single comment is just like, you pronounced this word wrong. it's just like, it completely detracts from the actual video and like the conversation that you want to start. So that's why I don't think I will be reading that book, but who knows. So anyway, wage war in the comments. Shout at me, heckle me, abuse me in the comment section. No, please don't. I can't handle it today. My video is done uploading, so I'm gonna go and press publish over on my laptop. Oh my gosh, also, guys, I have been nominated for Creator of the Year at this year's Blogosphere Awards, which is so crazy and mental. If you'd like to vote for me, I will leave a link down below, but no pressure. It doesn't take very long. But yeah, if you have a spare couple minutes, I would really, really appreciate it. I am somehow nominated in the big category, Creator of the Year. What? So there's that. Wow, what? All the best, stay in touch, have a wonderful day, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye!